Jeffrey is a 23-year-old SMU student who is both a knowledgeable and active environmentalist. He has been keeping track of his own carbon emissions using an Excel spreadsheet. Every day, after coming home from school, he takes note of all the instances of carbon emission he had throughout the day, such as the distance he travelled by public transport. However, this takes up a lot of his time. Moreover, the process is very tedious and requires extensive knowledge on the specifics of how much such activities contribute to one's carbon footprint. With his schoolwork piling up, he decided to search for mobile applications that will allow him to track his emissions in a shorter amount of time. He decides to turn to the App Store for a solution. He eventually stumbles upon Carbon Sayonara. Upon opening the app, he is directed to a login page where he signs up for an account. He is then redirected to a new page where he keys in details relevant to his Singaporean lifestyle that significantly contribute to his carbon emissions. This included questions such as how often and how long he used the aircon in his house for, or the amount of red and white meat he consumed per week. From there, he discovered how much CO2 his current lifestyle was emitting. Shocked by this revelation, he became more determined to continue more actively tracking his carbon emissions. Over the next few days, he used the app to actively track his carbon emissions. After one particularly stressful day in school, Jeffrey goes to his favorite chicken rice store and orders a plate for himself. Remembering he ought to track this instance, he opens the app and attempts to record the instant. By clicking the plus button found on the page, he selects food and is directed to a list of Singaporean food. As he has not recorded an instance of himself eating chicken rice before, it is not in his favorite list of foods. As such, he searches the database by typing the word chicken rice in the search bar. Upon seeing the image pop up on his screen with the click of a button, he ends up recording the instance of him eating chicken rice. After recording that instance, he noticed there was an exclamation mark next to his recent history on the home page. Upon inspecting it, he was redirected to a page whereby he found out that the app had tracked and automatically filled up a template of an instance where he had travelled to the hawker centre by bus. After verifying that it was correct, he approved the instance and he was successfully logged into the app. Noticing that his actions emitted quite a large amount of CO2 this week, he felt guilty for not doing more to help save the Earth. As such, he decided to use the offset function in the app. After clicking the button, he was directed to a page where he saw many projects that are currently active in saving the environment. Moreover, he could pick the projects he believed in and attempt to support them, pledging a sum of $10 to a tree planting campaign. After pledging the amount, Jeffrey felt relieved and further encouraged to continue doing his part for the environment. Finally stumbling onto an app that caters to his needs, Jeffrey is left satisfied and happy that he can now track his emissions in a convenient way that is catered to Singaporeans.